What's going on?
Hi there, John.
Man, always great seeing you. Always great connecting. I definitely you keep me entertained on social media. I will put it that way. Your social media is one of the best. I absolutely love it. And, you know, can always count on a little inspiration and some good laughs every time you've
Probably
your social
more
media
laughs than
appears.
inspiration, huh?
Yeah. So good. It really is. And I mean, is that for you just playing to your personality? Is it just having fun? I mean, where do you get, the energy and the inspiration to come up with the ideas? And I mean, you've got some
What it
funny
is,
stuff.
I don't. I have someone that designs it all, films it, records it. I She'll basically say, "Jack, I need you to do this." I like the one I fell back in the water. I was like, it was a cold fall day, and she goes, "Jack, I need you to do this." And I was like, I said, "Okay," but I said, "I got to have my car right there with the heater warmed up." And so I've just learned that whatever she tells me what to do, I just do it. It's like, and I think that's
Yes.
I've
Yes.
learned that.
And I think it's an important reminder for a lot of us, right? To be able to draw. Because if it's just dependent upon us, I mean,
Right.
most of the time it won't get done. But if we're, somebody helping us and holding us accountable, we can dang sure tear through it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean we film every other week, and it's like what you see is you see the finished product, but what you don't see is like she'll say, "Jack, I want you to say this," and I'll say it, and then she goes, "Jack, this time say it again, but smile. It looks like you want to rip somebody's head off." And I'll say, "What do you want me to say?" She goes, "What we just filmed it. I forgot it already." So it's kind of fun, challenging, and I think I'm not your typical person that would do it, and so I think that's the reason why I like it and why people enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely, getting to know you over the years. I wouldn't expect a lot of the things that you do. And so that's why I get a good laugh. But I mean, you make humor and light around, just some interesting things, right? Just
Right?
to
Yeah.
really drive home the point, especially for real estate agents, but also for buyers and sellers in the marketplace as well. So it's
Right.
really cool.
And John, you bring up a good point because I think sometimes we as agents we got to be so serious and we got to have it all together. I mean, we had our team meeting this morning, and I said, "Hey, we make mistakes. We don't got it together." And I think
Yeah.
that's one of the things that we're good at is admitting our failure.
Yeah. Well, and I think what's really cool is, somebody, like you leading the way, and you've got a younger organization, a younger team. I mean, almost your entire team could, be your kids. And
Right.
so,
Yeah.
for them seeing you out there being you, putting, getting a little uncomfortable, really leading the way. Um, to me it's right, and
Right.
there's so much just uncertainty out in the marketplace that one of the biggest voids coming out of kind of the unicorn easier years was the void of skill, of being able
Right.
to how to articulate your value and have a conversation with the prospect. But the other void was leadership, a
Right.
really big leadership void. And so it's really, like I said, for me, I see the inspiration because I know how many eyeballs and how many people are looking to you for guidance. And then you just
Right.
stepping up there and really leading the way is pretty cool.
Yeah. And John, I mean, I work with both of my kids, and it's a family owned business that has just like exploded. But it's interesting. I mean, it's interesting and challenging sometimes to have work with with your kids,
Yeah.
but
Well,
I
working
love
with
it.
family in general. Yeah, it
Right.
really is. And, especially, knowing their, personalities and dynamics, and especially your boys. I mean, they're both hardworking, but they're definitely they're opposite. They have their own
Oh
unique
yes. Right.
abilities and own unique skill sets, and
Right.
so being able to be a parent navigating those waters is cool. And I think, for a lot of parents, especially entrepreneurs trying to do things, we all have that inspiration of like, man, I would love for my kids, all of them, to work with me into the future, into the business. So being able to have that is pretty cool.
Right. And it really is. I mean, to work with your kids, I would have never, it was never a dream that I had or even thought about it. But as the years have gone on, basically the last, 7 years working with my kids, and we are all three bipolar opposite. And I think that's what makes it fun and enjoyable. The good part about a family business is you can have a fight, you can have an argument, and you know that one of you is not gonna like leave or anything like that.
Yeah.
And like we'll have family get-togethers and we'll just talk about our team, which is I think we're very open-minded with it. And I think with the different generations, I have had to learn and just take a step back and just say, hey, you guys probably are a lot more right than I want to admit because it's the younger generation that our team really attracts.
Yeah. So for you as really leading the company, leading the organization as a leader, I think this is a good lesson. How do you, not this is my way, we got to do it this way, to where you can just, like you said, from a leadership perspective, how do you just kind of step back and listen on a much deeper level than, trying to drive your initiative forward?
I think I've just learned over the years, like, man, it's okay to have different opinions, to do it in a different way. I think the thing that makes our team so successful is it's run by most of the people in their 30s and 20s. And I think I've just learned that, hey, man, I could be set in my ways and just learning from them and like, hey, it is okay to have a different of opinion. And we're really different opinions, but it's okay with that. It's not like it's a bad thing. We just see things different. And I think I've learned to take a step back and go, okay, there's some things that I am very adamant about and I will like put my foot down, but then there's other things I'll be like, is it that big a deal? And I think that's the thing that I've learned. And that's the thing that I would say to anyone that's forming a team. We have 175 agents, 12 staff members. So it's like, I've just learned that, hey, it's okay that we're different. We all have different opinions. I mean, I've been married now 41 years. And I mean, my wife and I are bipolar opposite, but that's the good part. I mean, she likes, over the last few days, this Saturday Night Live thing. She wants to watch everything. She wants to watch everything. And I'm like, she's over there laughing. And I'm thinking, this is the stupidest thing I've heard in my life. But I think I've learned that over the years, not only in the marriage, but also with our team, that we're all different and it's okay to be different. And different, it's not like, my way's right or theirs way's right. I think it's just being flexible in the whole process.
Is that just through experience? A lot of trial and error.
I mean, before I was a real estate agent, I was a pastor for 28 years. I've just learned that dealing with people have different opinion, people have different perspective, and not that one's right or one's wrong. It's just how we view it. And I think I've learned that over the years. Like, it's okay to be different and let your differences attract you instead of causing separation.
Yeah. Anytime I'm talking to anybody about you, and they talk about how hard their team is, I was like, well, Jack told me he started 2 churches from scratch, and he said building a real estate team's a walk in the park compared to that. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, churches was very hard, and real estate's very hard to run a team. But I think the thing is that, John, is I think we got to listen to our team members, and I think that's what we're really good at. Just like we would tell our agents to listen to their clients, to their buyer and seller, we as the team, we have to listen to our clients, which is our team members, and they have some great ideas from experiences. And so I think learning that is an important part.
Yeah. How do you create the space for that? right? Where can you design in the week, in the day, to where you give yourself some space and some time to reflect and listen instead of just go, 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 and not having any time to sit down and listen to the people that are in the trenches, that are close to the customer doing the work.
Right. I just think I think we have really stressed that. We've really asked our team, hey, if you have an idea, talk to us. If you have our team is one of the first hires was our, technology. My son, who's our systems, he's unbelievable,
Yeah, yes.
unbelievable. But he was, we tell, hey, if you got an idea, go to him, and he can AI it. He can make it happen, which has really helped our team a lot.
Jack, what have you seen over the years? What have you lost, or have you lost anything from being, the five guys that started this whole thing to the 175, 12 agents, like, in a relatively short period of time, you guys have just exploded growth. Is
Right.
there something, have you been able to still maintain? I mean, what have you lost,
Right.
during that growth?
Yeah. John, I think the hardest thing is when you grow, the people that were like when the team was smaller, they had a voice. They were a vital part of the thing. I think that is the hardest part when teams grow, is like people that started were a vital part in the early stages. They become they're not as they seem they're not as important. So we've just really stressed that, hey, if you're a brand new agent or you've been on our team 5, 6, 7 years, we value you. I mean, we just took our top 10 agents down to Mexico a couple of weeks ago, and it was a great trip. And so we really try to value our top agents, because, man, you keep your top agents, it makes life so much easier.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we have adjusted splits. We have a tier system in our splits, and it's basically our goal is to keep our top agents around, because you keep them around, they make your job a lot easier.
Yeah, they do. And especially, when they're really bought into, the vision and the process and how we do things. Cause, they're the advocates, especially for the newer agents that,
Right.
kind of
Yeah.
are kind of standoffish, haven't had the chance to get proximity to you or Johnny or Michael. And so they do have, they look for, the leaders within the organization. So when you can cultivate that second and third levels of leadership, it makes, like you said, your life a lot easier.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
How
And
have you
go
Go ahead, Jack.
ahead.
No,
I
go
was
ahead.
going to say, one of the things that I really do with our team is, like, we have one of our offices about a half hour away. I go down there every other week, and my thing is, man, I try to build relationships with our agents on a very personal basis. So I love what I do. It's a lot of fun. I would say I have a lot of middle of the night wake up, and I go, like, we got to do this, we got to do that. But that comes with everything.
Sure. Yeah, it really does. How, looking at, because you've had a lot of growth just even here recently, being able to kind of hitting the accelerator button. How are you keeping with real estate being pretty dang tough? I mean, you've been in the game for quite some time. How are you keeping their morale? How are you keeping agents, from staying plugged in, staying committed to the process? Like how are you and the rest of the team, leadership team specifically, keeping the agents engaged and not, really almost giving up in an
Right.
industry that's pretty dang tough right now?
Right. And the one thing that we do from the top to the bottom is we push our agents. We're trying to help them to become better at what they do. And one of the things that I'll talk to an agent, and they'll go, "How's it going?" And I'll try to read what they're saying, and I'll say, "Hey, how can we help you to do better?" Or if we look at each other's numbers, and you go, "Man, you can tell this person's maybe struggling a little bit because of their numbers. They're just not getting as many under contract or closed deals." But I would say the thing that we're constantly doing is how can we help the agents be more successful? We're pushing the agents. I mean, we have probably, I don't know, 15 to 20 agents that sell over 10 million. And so our thing, it's like they're around their friends and their peers. And so they're being pushed to, to do really well. And so I think
Yeah.
and that's the hard part. I mean, probably one of the negative qualities I have is I'm never happy. Like, I mean, we did, 1,130 deals as a team this year. And it's like I'm thinking, man, why didn't we do 1,200?
Right.
So it's a constant push to do more. It's probably it's my negative quality, but it's the quality that, man, we're just always going to be pushing this ship to have a greater impact. And I think that's, and that's the good, with both of my kids are that way too. It's like, hey, we're at 175 agents. We want to be at 250, 275 next year. Jack, when is enough? I don't know. When it's over with, you just keep on going. The thing that I think that we have changed so many lives of agents on our team that's said, man, Jack, I had a job I didn't like for 10 to 15 years and become a real estate agent, and I love it with the Perry Group. So I think that's the thing with ours. It's that we're constantly pushing the people and helping the agents to be very successful.
I agree with you, everything you just said there, because the dynamic and essentially, you're talking about the culture that you have with the Perry Group, and it's high standard, high accountability, organization, and it says something too with kind of the age demographic of the Perry Group team member makeup.
Right.
And it's not for everybody, but it is for those that embrace accountability. It is for those that don't want to settle.
Right.
And you guys are living that every day. And that's what the culture really is about. It's really cool.
Yeah. And I mean, John, I'm 66 years old. I love what I do. People ask me, how much longer are you going to do it? I said, I got 34 more years. I got to make it to 100. I mean, it's like, and I think because of that, just that desire. And you go, Jack, do you like fishing, golfing? Like, are you a handyman around the house? I'm none of that. Like, I'm good at the remote control with my TV, but everything else I'm not good at. So because of that, with the whole work mindset, it makes it kind of, and I like the worst part about Saturday and Sunday is I don't get to see our team. And so they go, Jack, that's just a weird thinking, but that's what I love what I do, helping the agents crush it.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys are crushing it. Where are you seeing, as we kind of break loose from whatever chokehold it feels is kind of on the industry, and maybe different, what are you seeing in Utah? I know throughout the rest of the country, up into Canada. I mean, it's, a lot of the countries under, this winter lockdown, winter storm, and man, a lot of nasty stuff out there too. A lot of sickness, a lot of sick kids. But where are you seeing things to break loose? Where do you see the opportunity, at least for you guys moving into the rest of this year?
I mean, that's the hard part, because Utah is not your typical market. I mean, and I think that's the thing. We got a lot of people moving here from around the country. I think that, I'm originally from the East Coast, moved out here 40 years ago and stayed here. And I think we're kind of riding that wave that where everything is good. The economy is good. We got a hockey team now, and it's kind of like everything is just kind of going good. We don't have the kind of like, hey, the economy's not doing well. And I think with, Utah's great. The outdoors. I mean, I live 5 minutes from the hills, and I could, like this afternoon, I'll go, 4 or 5 o'clock, I'll go walk my dog for half hour, 45 minutes in the hills, in the mountains. And I think that's and I just live in a small community in a small house, lived in the same house since 1988 and 2,000 square feet. And I love it, but I love it because of just the closeness to the mountains.
Mhm. Yeah, it is. You definitely are in a unique market. So I know part of that, never settling. How are you not allowing the agents to get too comfortable? Where are we pushing and looking for, hey, we have to be ready. Where is the opportunities? Like you said, with the hockey team, skate to the puck.
Right.
Where are you seeing the puck specifically in your market that you're really telling the agents to pay attention to?
And one of the things that we do is we have this, we have a couple boards in our office and glass windows, like our top 10 for the month, top 10 for the year. And we have a TV that posts all that too. So people want to see their name in the top 10. So I hear it all the time, people saying, man, I'm gonna get on the top 10 for the month sometime this year. And I think people that our team is very competitive, and we'll make it. My son Michael, sold 28 million. He'll make it. There's another guy on our team that's really close to him million wise. They'll really push each other, and I think it's just you let people see those numbers, and then people want to be like, hey, I want to be that part. And like I said, last year, just a couple of weeks ago, we took our top 10 to Mexico. Next year, we're going to take our top 15 agents. And there's nothing worse than if you were agent 12 and 13 and you see these pictures of these people having fun. You go, I'm going to be on that group next year. And, so stuff like that. We have a AAA baseball team. We took, roughly 2,200 of our agents' clients to that game. So it's kind of like we're always doing things like that to make our team, our agents feel a vital part of the whole thing. And they're like, man, the Perry Group is doing all this. Man, I'm gonna push it to get to do well.
Yeah, it's really cool, right? Like being that, number 12, number 13 on the outside, kind of looking in and missing out on that opportunity, and then, challenging them. Where could you have played a little bit harder? Where could you have gone a little more all out? Where did you, not do your best, and being able to tighten that up? That competitiveness is really, really key. And especially when things slow down or things get a little tough, right? To have that healthy competition and pushing each other, it's critical. It really is absolutely critical. What are you, an organization your size, obviously not getting, to connect with everybody like you were when, we were, 20 agents, 25 agents.
Right.
Where, how do you get the agents immersed into the culture as soon as possible? Like what are some of the things that you guys are doing culture wise to get people plugged into where they feel a part of the Perry Group culture right away?
And I think, John, the thing is, like, we're having a tubing event in 2 weeks from this Tuesday. So there'll be 75, 85 of our agents added from our different offices. And so we do things like that I think people are like, man, I really get to connect, because I've seen a lot of teams over the years, and I think you have seen them too, but the people don't feel like they're a part of it or connecting, and we're constantly doing that. I do this thing after every one of our team meetings on Tuesday. I say, you cannot leave this room until you talk to two people you've never met before. It seems so like cheese, not kind of like, what are you doing? But it makes the people start talking to people, and it's the people the new people be like, man, this is a great part. Another thing we do, we have our Slack channel, and people communicate through a Slack channel. There'll be like, somebody will post, hey, can somebody show houses for one of my clients tonight? And then people will just step up. But one of the things I've learned, John, is I'm the one that has to do it first.
Yeah.
Like, we'll have agents that'll say, hey, are there open house signs at the office? And I will comment, hey, give me 10 minutes and I'll go down to the office and to check to see if there's signs for you. And you're like they'll be like, Jack, you don't need to do that. You're too busy, or you're one of the founders. You don't need to go down. I'm going to get, and I'll say, no, I'm going to go do it. And then I've brought open house signs to agents that are 20, 30 minutes away. And because of that culture that we have done from the top, there's like, hey, if Jack's going to drive 20 minutes to help someone, I'm going to drive 20 minents to help someone.
I can do the same
thing.
thing.
That culture is, we just constantly encourage it.
Yeah. I remember Coach Burt had a belief. His kind of mantra was, I believe everybody takes out the trash.
Right.
And you're never too good for any role, any function within the organization. And to me, that's absolutely critical, especially for getting, newer people coming in and seeing that allows them to get plugged in. And, you guys don't get to your size. You don't do what you do without great leadership and a great culture. And I love that little exercise of, introduce yourself, go talk to two people that you've never met before. That is so key. I tell you, there's another cool, a really cool one. Listening to Andy Frisella and what they do at First Form is that he makes everybody part of their onboarding is that they create their own vision board. And so obviously at First Form, he's everybody's working in the office. So every department you kind of go to, they have their vision boards out there. So it allows people to connect through, oh, you have that dream, me too. Right. So it just allows people to connect, but it's doing little things like that. The two conversations at every meeting, it's, interacting on the Slack channel, introducing, doing things. Right. It's absolutely critical, especially at your size, and you guys are not slowing down and being able to continue to grow.
Yeah. And I think you got to really, do them with a purpose, because otherwise people do get lost. I mean, I think that's the hard part. Like we keep all of our, stronger agents, the agents that have been in 5-6 years that are crushing it, doing unbelievable stuff. I mean, they're a vital part in what we do. And I think, John, from from everything from our leadership team, it's about helping people. We say we're in the helping business, but we're really you got to go overboard and really hey, how can we go out of the way to help our team?
Yeah. Well, when the three of you get together, right, you, Michael, and Johnny, I mean, you're talking about that, right? That's the question we're always asking. And I think that's absolutely critical. It's always putting them at the forefront. How do we help them to be better? Okay, then we can help these other opportunities. Oh, and then we can run the business, right? You got to get kind of the priorities in order, but you got to take care of your people first is the first priority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let me make it crystal clear. I mean, it's going very well now, but in the early stages, it was a battle. It was like when we were, when we were getting started, trying to form the team. I mean, we made a lot of mistakes, but it was like we just tried to learn from our mistakes and think, hey, how can we become a better thing? But it was challenging. I mean, people ask me all the time, is it worth it? I say, man, it's worth it. It's a lot of fun, but it's a yo-yo. You'll have your good months and then your hard months, and then you'll be like, man, what's going on? But I think it's learning from your trials and from your mistakes is a very important thing. And John, we make them, but we'll tell our team that we made them. We won't be try to sweep over it, cover it up.
Perfect.
Like we didn't make a mistake. We'll say, hey, man, that didn't go well, but we're going to try again.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's that vulnerability. I mean, you guys come from a place that you allow trust to be, earned, because we are authentic. We are transparent. We do have high character, and you look at the two things that are non-negotiable is high character, high trust.
Right.
And you guys embody that. And so people come in, they feel that, they see it, and creating, to where they feel included is if they come in and show up, right? They come in and do the work to be able to help them, thrive is pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, we've known you for what, 4 years now, and we
Yeah, something like
appreciate
that.
the impact that you've had on us. And it's been
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. It's really cool to see. I think when we were first starting to work together, I think maybe less than half of kind of where you're at right now. I think we're
Right.
70, 80 agent range, right in there. And definitely making serious strides. I think the critical component there too, to be able to perform at the level that you guys have, is you you've got to have the different perspectives, and it's okay to have those different perspectives, like you said, with even with the three of you. But you got to have that foundation. I mean, obviously leadership is everything, but being able to have the foundation to build the process, to build the structure. And you've got one of the best I've ever seen in Johnny, being able to really keep an eye on everything. And you guys are, top, had been top with Zillow, and making
Right.
Zillow work at a high level with like, would scare people for what
Right.
you guys were investing into
Oh
into
yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but without him, or having somebody that puts systems and process to be able to micromanage almost every opportunity in the metrics, that's why it works.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And so being able to have that critical component. But looking where you guys are, and into the future, the growth, what problems are you anticipating to have to solve for? Is it more leadership? Is it more more marketing, more help with Johnny? Like, where do you see where you've got to navigate as a leader, seeing into the future of where we're going to have to solve for moving into 26, 27, 28 timeframe?
Right. I mean, that's a great question. I think the answer is, I think we just got to always be moving forward, always learning on every level. How can we make this thing better? And I think I mean, if I had to go, encouragement to anyone, the first hire that I would go is the whole, systems. Um, I mean, we spent 20 minutes of our team meeting today talking about AI and things that we need to do. And it's like, it's changing the world. And I think it's just, one of the things that we're doing is we're open offices in other cities in Utah. And so because of that, we're just always pushing this thing to go forward. And I think the hard part is there's not many teams across the country at this level. And how do you do it next? And then knowing that, working with my kids and with our agents, I think it's constantly just dream big. And as you dream big and you face that challenge, hey, what can you do? And I think you always be willing to change and say, man, let's go in a little bit different direction. And like I said, our goal is to have 250, 275 agents by the end of this year. Like, that sounds overwhelming to most people,
Yeah.
but like, I'm just like, let's just go for it, and let's do it, and let's learn on the way as we go, and make changes as you're going. I think we're very quick to listen, and we're quick to, like, hey, let's try it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing is, I would say, and I think so much, and that's probably what I've learned being with most of our people on our team, is they're a lot more flexible than I was. It was like, no, we're going to do it this way. I think it's going to work. And then I've just learned over the years, like, hey, let's move forward. And I think, like Disney, I don't think, Disney kind of had it figured out, but I don't think they knew what they were going to become today. And
No.
I think you just kind of like, okay, we're this way. We're at 250 agents. Hey, the year after that might be 400. Like, let's just keep on moving forward and learning and growing from each other and from other people.
Yeah.
That's really helped us over the years.
Yeah, it's really cool. And then being able to start to see the growth too, as you guys are branching out into the other markets. I mean, it's kind of the whole ink blot, right? You know, the Walmart strategy of we started here and then we're just bleeding out. And you guys just, I mean, that reach doesn't ever have to stop. And, you know, you figured out how to juggle 100. You can definitely figure out how to juggle 275.
Yeah. Yeah. No. And I think one of the things that probably my major shift was, you know, it would be 3 years this coming summer when I got on Instagram, social media. I would ask my kids before, like, hey, can you explain how Instagram works, or what do you do? And they would say, Dad, you're too old, just give up, you can't figure it out. And I was like, daggone it, you're not going to say that, I'm going to figure this thing out. So what's really great is Michael's Instagram and my Instagram are bipolar opposite. But I think that's the fun part in what we do. I love to wear shirts like this, and where my kids would never wear shirts like this. I mean, my favorite thing to do after a stressful day is to go shirt shopping. It's like, Jack, you're weird, but that's what I love to do. And I think that's kind of, learn that, hey, that we're all different. And I think that's the good part.
I think different, but being, authentic to yourself. And I think that's really where, like we were saying, the genuine leadership, the genuine trust comes out. And, you can't fake that. And, what you guys have, I think that, the authenticity also becomes contagious, right? Yes. When you're just your genuine self. Right. No, it's definitely very cool to see and being able to navigate, growth on the level. But like you said, right, it's you guys put in the work to build the foundation. I think that was something, for a lot of people, sitting back, looking at your organization and how you got it to the size of in where you guys are at, is that we put in a lot of work to build a solid foundation, to be able to build this upon, to be able to take on the growth that you guys are wanting to take on.
Right. So let me ask you a question, John.
Yes, sir.
You've known this for 4 years, and it's got, it's like, what would you say is like, man, that 1 or 2 things that you guys have done very well the last few years you see it from a different perspective. What would say 1 or 2 things that you're saying, hey, you guys do this and you do it well?
You guys do a lot very well. And it really starts with a who factor, and allowing all 3 of you, kind of the core nucleus of you, Michael and Johnny, like you said, all unique, different personalities, different skill sets, just to be able to be yourself.
Right.
And you see it in what Michael does. Michael's, the Instagram, his story, just him being himself, sitting on the truck, sitting on the Tesla, just him being him, right, doing his thing. You guys have always had social media on point. Michael's on point, yours is on point. And so really being able to stay top of mind. You guys have nailed your leadership is one of the best in the size of organization that I've ever seen. And you've got the wizard behind the curtain. You've got the, you look at the builder, the IT, the framework, the systems, the operations. To me, that's the foundation. So how to attract the eyeballs with what you guys have been able to do through social. You've got great leadership, which is the glue that brings it all together. And then you've got what makes it work on the back end. So you have all of the components.
Right.
And the only thing, is just continuing to, push the vision, the bigger picture of, we're not going to compromise our value. We're not going to compromise our character. We're not going to compromise, who we are. We're in pursuit of, and you guys have this, how can we serve you at a higher level? Agents, we're here to support you for not just a bigger career, but a bigger life.
Right.
And that just carries over into the culture that you guys have created. And it's, culture it's not what we say, but it's what we do. Right. And you guys do a lot. You don't talk, you actually, you put things into action. It's just the example you said, you would never ask somebody that you're not willing to go do yourself. And though that's to me the core foundation that you guys do extremely well. And it doesn't matter if Zillow goes away tomorrow, you guys will figure it out. If
Right. Yeah.
if we're not able to do open houses next week, we'll figure it out.
Right.
And I think that's you've got the foundation to be able to navigate any waters ahead.
Right. Yeah. No, appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty awesome. It really is. And, you know, it's whatever you guys want it to be. And I
Right.
think that you've stepped back to a point. It's not ego driven. It's the collectiveness of
Right.
what, and you've built a brand that people want to be a part of, and
Right.
that it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And, John, you brought up the ego thing. And for me personally, that was probably one of the hardest things for me as time went on, that people were like I went from one key person now to I'm just one of the guys or one of the leadership team. And I think it's like they'll make decisions without me. And I was like, I think for me personally, that was one of the hardest things. But the faster I let that go, the better it went. In that, because I wanted to know everything was happening, and then when I started letting go, that's when it started getting better and better. So I would encourage anyone, no matter if you want to grow your team, the more you can let go, the better it's going to go. The more that you feel like you gotta, it was my ego. It was like I didn't want to get rid of it. It was the more when I started letting go, it was like, man, this was like they would have a meeting without me making decisions, and I would be like, why? Like, don't you value me? But I'd be like, okay, this thing's going forward without me. And this last year, I was, my dad passed away in August, so I was gone a lot, and I could not have done it if without the great leadership and the great team around us.
Yeah.
I was gone, like twice a month. And so it was because of our leadership team, our agents, that gave me that flexibility to be gone all the time.
Yeah. Well, you put in the work, right? You put in the values, you put in, the guardrails, you put in the non-negotiables, you put in the high character, high standard, high levels of accountability. And, when you lay that groundwork and the framework for them to make the best decisions, and we're operating with the intent of whatever the intent of that we're trying to accomplish.
Right.
And you get out of the way, and you let them, and what's kind of cool is that then you start looking and you're like, okay, that is the right decision. Oh,
right.
You guys did good. That is the right decision.
Right.
And so even if it doesn't turn out the way I've always have seen it, even if the outcome is not what we want, yet the decision was made within the right intent and the right framework within our values, it was right.
Right.
Even if the outcome was wrong, it's still right. And that's kind of cool once you get it to that point.
Yeah.
It's awesome. But Jack, you're amazing. Definitely an inspiration to be able to see what you guys have done. And I always look, and it's like, it's not the number I want to pay attention to is how many leaders have they created. And you look at, your boys, you look at, the leaders within that organization, and it's pretty awesome to see. And you guys ain't going to slow down. And I love what, the way you're thinking about it. And it's so important, but it's really hard for real estate agents to get their head around, because most of them are thinking about, not are we trying to solve for this year? They're trying to solve what I'm trying to solve for this week, this month. But yet you're thinking, 30 years down the road. And I think that's really important for a lot of people to be thinking in terms of decades, just because you don't want to sacrifice short term for the long term greater good. And it shows what you guys have been able to build. And like I said, no matter what the market throws at you, you'll be able to navigate and figure it out.
Yeah. And I think it's, like when the lawsuit and everything, last summer, people wonder how you handle it. I think one of the things that I've learned, I got in real estate 2009 when people were getting out of real estate. I would have people say, why are you getting in real estate some of the worst times in history? It's like, man, why not? It's like,
That's the best time.
and I was like, it's probably, maybe I had something short in my brain that was like, I got in at the wrong time. And it's like, the market's always changing. I think it's, interest rates we say is high, but when I bought my house in 88, my interest was 9.5. It's like, what are we complaining about? It's always changing. I think that's the thing is, right now the Utah's a great market, but if it changes, we just got to always be shifting, changing, and doing things different. I mean, I think I first got involved. It was like, we were like DocuSign, and it was like you had electronic signatures and people were freaking out with it. Like, and I think it's just a constant change. You just got to be ready for it.
Yeah.
It's going to
be okay with it. It's going to happen, and be okay with it. And you guys have definitely been able to put yourself in a position to navigate whatever happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, John.
Jack, you're amazing. Appreciate you taking the time, jumping in here. I know you guys are rocking and rolling, and again, congrats.
Yeah.
No,
I appreciate you. Just the opportunity to be on it was like, meant a lot. Means a lot.
Means a lot to me too. Jack, you're amazing. Okay. Appreciate you.
Thanks,
Tell the boys I said hi. We'll see you.
Sure will. Okay.
See ya.
Bye-bye.